Welcome to the Nets post-game show with Frank Isola. I'm Nancy Newman. This was much more like it. The play crisp from the get-go tonight as Brooklyn notches consecutive wins for the first time this season. The Nets endured a Kevin Durant ejection late in the third quarter, but Frank, they did not let up for a single moment. They really just took it to the Pistons, as they should.
Yeah, after Kevin Durant got ejected, they went on a 15-6 run to really open the game up. So you didn't see Kevin Durant in the fourth quarter. You didn't see James Harden. They got an early rest. And it's important, too, when you think about where the Nets are. 6 games in 10 days. Now, finally, they're going to get 2 days off before they play Atlanta, and the minutes for both Harden and Kevin Durant. Now, that wasn't the plan necessarily. Kevin Durant ended up getting ejected, but good performance, record-setting performance tonight by the Nets, shooting over 65%. Franchise record, a record that had stood for 39 years. Pretty impressive.
1982 also versus Detroit. We'll talk more about that. Let's get to the game highlights. First quarter action. That's where we pick it up. Killian Hayes, no good here on the three. James Harden, the rebound, and he's looking for KD ahead of the field. Got him, and the lay-in, plus the foul. Nets up early. A little later, we'll see some good ball movement by Brooklyn. Blake Griffin, touch pass. Joe Harris splashing home the three. Nice to see that.
Yeah, the movement was terrific, and Joe Harris from the corner. That's the spot where most three-point shooters want to be. He's deadly from there.
Pistons trying to make a run. Pistons within 3. A little later, more James Harden. Watch him accelerate to the bucket. And the deuce, plus the foul. Nets lead 23-15. Garden feeling it. Harden feeling it. Last minute of the first, LaMarcus Aldridge playing the interior game, getting the turnaround to go. Nets lead by 3 after 1. And on we go to the second quarter.
And if you see here, Josh Jackson, who played really well in the first half. He can't shoot free throws if his life depended on it. And then you get what we haven't seen a lot of. Here's DeAndre Bembry from outside. I thought he was terrific coming off the bench. The Nets need this. And then they get a steal on this end, and you watch what happens. Javon Carter, who came into the game shooting 2 for 20, knocked down 2 shots tonight. That was 2 for 20 on the season, and he knocked down a pair of 3-pointers tonight. That's
an 8-point lead. The bench was all over it. LaMarcus Aldridge still cooking on the interior. 42-32. Off a Detroit miss here. Nets on the run again. Durant ahead of the field again. Look out.
And watch that. Kelly Olynyk decided not to challenge Kevin Durant at the rim. Just keep that in mind as we see the third quarter highlights.
Foreshadowing there, right, Frank? Nets trying to get more separation. Harris shooting practice from the corner. Nets lead 69-52. Durant handing to Griffin on the wing. Oh, yes, got that. Nets lead by 19. Griffin got it going tonight.
And Blake Griffin had entered the game not shooting the ball well tonight, 3 of 4. Didn't get a lot of shots, but he knocked down the ones that he had.
The Nets lead is 83-64, still in the third. Durant good on the fadeaway jumper. Nets just pouring it on at this point, and they led 85-68. Now, here we go, Frank. On the next defensive possession, KD getting tangled up with Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah, I think he took exception to the fact that Kelly Olynyk had his arms up high, but Kevin Durant running through that screen, that's the play. He gets him twice there with the forearm. I thought right away he was going to be in trouble. The referees checked it. Kevin Durant is not that kind of player. He's not a dirty player, but for me, that's enough to get ejected.
It was originally ruled a common foul, then the flagrant 2, and he's out. Under 90 to go. And Harden and Bembry. And the Nets lead is 20. Final seconds of the third, major highlight.
Yeah, and this was basically it for Detroit. They got to as close as 14 after Kevin Durant got ejected. Then the Nets just opened it up.
And this is in the fourth. Another big highlight for Brooklyn. Off the rebound, James Johnson, coast to coast, sidestepping the defender, throwing down the huge one-handed flush. Just feeling it. Nets coast to the blowout win over the Pistons. The game summary is brought to you by Infinity. Luxury should be lived in. And as we mentioned off the top of the show, 65.3% from the field. That is a new franchise record that stood for 39 years.
Second straight game where Kevin Durant only scored 4 points in the second half, did not score in the fourth quarter for the second straight game, and the Nets won both games. I think for Steve Nash, now the circumstances, I'm sure he's not thrilled about what happened tonight in the third quarter, but he has to be very happy that they're getting contributions from other guys. They don't need Kevin Durant, at least in these last 2 games, to score 40 points for the Nets to be able to win. They're getting other players to contribute scoring-wise. And then James Harden, the last 2 games, shot a lot of free throws on Friday night. Tonight, first triple-double for him. You can see his confidence coming back, his game starting to round into form as well.
And both the headline acts out of the lineup in that fourth quarter for different reasons.
Yep.
Bench shining. Let's take a closer look now at Kevin Durant. And really over the last couple of games, as you mentioned, Frank, he should have been ejected then, too.
Well, see, he doesn't like the fact that T.J. McConnell gives the foul there, and he's frustrated. And I think he would have gotten a technical even if he had hit the backboard. That's what he was trying to do. That was a wild pitch. The referees after the game said he should have been ejected. This one tonight, when you're coming through with the forearm, and that's not the best angle, but when you see it from the side here, he gets him twice, and that second follow-through, and with Olynyk falling down like that, probably embellishing a little bit. But the referees do the right thing. They go to the courtside monitor. They look at it again. And Kevin Durant is not a dirty player. This is uncommon for him. And usually, sometimes reputation does factor in. Sometimes the reputation of the player that you fouled, in this case, Kelly Olynyk, who's been known to be a bit of a chippy player. But in that case, I think the referees got it right. You don't want to see great players get ejected, but I do think in that moment, Kevin Durant did enough to earn the ejection.
And you did mention that things were brewing between them anyway.
Yeah, and that's just the kind of player that Kelly Olynyk is. But I did think it was interesting at the end of the first half when, listen, that would have been an aggressive play to go up and try to foul Kevin Durant there. But I wonder if the next time they meet and the situation is similar, Kelly Olynyk might not say, here, just go to the basket and get a dunk. Maybe he tries to challenge it after the rim after getting hit by Kevin Durant.
So KD did his thing, and how about James Harden? He did a little as his thing, too. First triple-double of the season for him.
Yeah, I thought the way that James Harden spoke after that loss that they had to Miami, again, I thought his pride was wounded. I think he knew a lot of people were talking about, oh, he's lost it. He's just not the same player anymore. I thought it's way too early. It's October, and we're going to determine that James Harden isn't the same player that he was. Then he gets 19 free throws on Friday. Tonight, this looked like James Harden of last year, where he got a lot of guys involved. He gets a triple-double, and I thought what was great for Steve Nash and for Harden and for Kevin Durant is that they didn't have to play. The 2 best players on the team got to rest a little bit because it's been a pretty grueling start to the season. Like I said, 6 games in 10 days. Now, for the first time since the first game of the season, they get 2 days off before they play again.
And here you see the triple-double leaders for the Nets all-time, and James Harden climbing up that list. Here are the final stats. 65.3 from the field. That is the new franchise record. 10 of 16 from the line. Bench points equally good on both sides. Largest lead was 30.
Yeah, and if you look at the free throws, 2 teams combined for 38. The last game, the Nets as a team had 41. James Harden had 19. Tonight, the team has 16. What I liked about it, Kevin Durant and James Harden combined to go 16 of 22 for 41 points. The Nets win with them only having 41 points, but that's 41 points on only 22 shots for the 2 best players on the team. That's pretty efficient.
Looking forward to what Coach Nash has to say. Stay with us. Plenty more to come here on the Nets postgame show. When we return, yes, we'll have the postgame thoughts of the head coach. His postgame presser is coming up. We'll head on back to Barclays Center and get our play-by-play team's reaction from this night's victory from Barclays Center and more player reaction. That's on the way, too. Stay with us.